you are an entrepreneur, a professional, a speaker, or a coach, and although you've come a long way, it's time for you to take it to the next level. We've got you. This is the Author to Authority podcast. We'll help you use authority and influencer marketing to build your business stronger and faster by publishing a book. You'll hear from guests that are thought leaders in sales, marketing, networking, communication, social media, promotion, and business leadership. Let's do it. This is the Author to Authority podcast. And now your host, the extraordinary word ninja, Kim Thompson-Pinder.
Welcome to the Author to Authority podcast. I'm your host, Kim Thompson-Pinder. And today we're going to talk about the 3 videos that every business needs. I know you heard the word video and you're like, nope, can't do it, don't want to do it, don't know how to do it, it's too hard, it's too difficult. But I promise you, by the end of today's episode, that you will have a clearer picture on not only which ones you need, but how to do them in a way that's not going to stress you out. I want to welcome Mark Wonderlin to the show today. He is the visionary founder of Mosaic Media Films, a leading force in the world of video production and marketing. He has a passion for crafting creative business videos that don't just captivate, but convert. Important word. Mark has carved a niche for himself in the video marketing industry. As the driving force behind Mosaic Media Films, Mark brings more than expertise into the video production. He brings a strategic marketing mindset. What sets his company apart is the unwavering focus on the marketing side of the video content. Again, that's another very important thing. And Mark collaborates closely with his clients, delving into the sales and marketing strategies of their businesses and funnels. Welcome to the show, Mark.
Absolutely, Kim. Thanks so much for having me here.
So I was curious because I think I know, but I'm not going to say anything. But can you just give us a very high level, just let us know what the 3 types of videos are, and then we'll do a deep dive into them a little later in the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Whether you sell products or service, the top 3 videos is a business promo, a social media video, and some type of customer testimonial or case study video.
Okay, I was pretty close there. So that's cool. Mark, how did you get into this? Because obviously, it's not something that generally people go into, and even into the marketing side, because most people either focus on making the videos, but you also focus on marketing them. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about your story.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my journey kind of started a little over a decade ago, and I was working at a company called Shut Sports, and we were a small marketing team at the time. So usually when you're a small team, you kind of have to do everything. So I did photography, video, print design, packaging design, SEO, you name it. If it was under the category of marketing and advertising, I had my hand in it. And when I moved to Austin, I looked at all my different skill sets and I felt that, video was really where the trend was going. My CMO at the time really encouraged me to do that. And at the time, there wasn't a lot of video content that was creatively artistic, but also had kind of a marketing mindset behind it. It was mostly done by kind of broadcasters from the television station, which is a totally different type of filming. So I took all the knowledge that I had from my kind of marketing role, under the leadership of the CMO at the time, and took my passion for creating video content in a kind of cinematic, stylistic way. And that's kind of where I started the company Mosaic Media Films. And, flash forward to today, and I have an amazing creative team, producer, editor, filmmakers, and other people that are part of the business to kind of help it run, with the goal of creating, compelling content for businesses and brands that not only connect with their viewer on a deeper level, but ultimately convert them. Because at the end of the day, if you're a business, that's your ultimate metric, is conversion. Filling out forms, calling, setting up a demo, whatever that case may be. It's really taking people one step further on that buyer's journey.
The one thing I liked about what you said is the buyer's journey.
Mm-hmm.
We don't often think about what that looks like. in terms of, getting someone. Now, I mean, there's lots of different ways to get clients. I mean, so obviously when you're working with referrals, I mean, that's a pretty warm, almost hot market. They're fairly easy to convert. But when you're looking at, going from a cold market, so someone who doesn't know you, never heard your name before, never heard your company name before, has no idea who you are or what you do, it's not the Norm situation from Cheers where you walk in and everybody knows your name. It is a journey.
Mm-hmm.
And that length of the journey can be either really short because maybe they're ready, right? So they don't need much to get from warm to hot. But other times it's a longer journey where you just take them step by step. They're cold, then they're cool, then they're lukewarm, then maybe they hit warm, So I love the fact that you talk about the journey. And I agree with you that, video is an amazing tool to help people along that journey. And today we are so, visually focused, and video, you only have to look at YouTube to know that video is one of the great ways to be able to get your company out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So Mark, let's dive into these 3 videos. So I'm going to let you loose for a bit. I know you've come prepared to talk about these 3 videos. So share with us about these videos and, what sort of things do we need to have in those videos?
Yeah, absolutely. So the top 3 videos is really your business promo or product promo, depending on what you sell. Your social media videos, which is predominantly for advertising. And then you have like your customer testimonial. So really, I guess I'll start from the top of the funnel and kind of work the way down. So, we talked about buyer's journey. So really the buyer's journey, particularly from cold traffic, starts with some form of awareness, right? So typically if you're doing ads on social, that's going to come in the form of a social ad. And that's really your first video. And I say video, but really it's videos, because when you're marketing on social media, you want to test different types of angles. So the angles might be, one angle could be a testimonial, one angle could be a feature, one angle could be the FOMO aspect, another angle could be, a benefit that they're going to get, right? All with their own kind of story, with a hook, content, call to action, or it could just be educational based. The main thing when you're creating social content, particularly in the ad format, is prior to even doing the video, you want to do some testing ahead of time with images and text so you can validate what's going to work on the video side, because it's a lot easier and faster to do, images and text ads and test those and see how they perform before the time, effort, and expense that it takes to create a social ad. So you want to first validate it through images and text with your ads. And then once you've defined kind of what angle is working well or what multiple angles are working well, then you can create the social content from there. And that's kind of your top of the funnel awareness. So from there, you want to get them into your system, whether that's watching the video for 3 seconds and then retargeting them, whether it's, creating another retargeting bucket on people that land on your landing page, or providing, some type of lead magnet or value offer, whether it's a downloadable thing or extra video content or whatever it is, and getting and capturing their email. All 3 of those metrics are great when, seeing what type of interest are you going to have with that audience. So that's
Mark, I'm going to stop you there for 1 second.
Yeah.
Because you use the word retargeting, and most people might not realize what is retargeting, and they've experienced it, but they might not know what it is.
Yeah. So let me tell you a little bit about what retargeting is. And it's incredibly powerful and can be super cost effective, especially if you have the volume of leads. So what you do is when you set up your ad, and I'll just use like Facebook, Instagram as an example, what you can do is you can say anyone that, either views this video for 3 seconds or goes to the landing page or interacts with a comment, like, or anything, they're creating basically what's called a micro conversion or some type of engagement. So when they do that, you want to be able to show other content to that audience. So that's what retargeting essentially is. We've all experienced it when you go to a website, you look at a pair of shoes, and then all of a sudden you go other places online and the shoes are everywhere. That's retargeting. So that's essentially what you're doing, is you're basically, when people have signaled to you that there's a level of interest, you're sending them other content about your brand because people usually will not buy on first click. It's going to take multiple touch points, and depending on where they're at. So, you mentioned earlier, like hot and warm, lukewarm, and so on, and when they're looking to buy or thinking about buying. So you have these different types of buyers. So the hot buyers that are like the top 3%, they're aware of a problem, they're actively seeking a solution, and they're ready to purchase typically within 30 days. Then you have kind of like the aware, kind of buyer that they kind of know something's aware, but they're not really ready to make a decision. They're probably on, a 60 to 120 day time frame. And that's the type of audience where you want to do that retargeting to. They're just not ready to buy. And then you have obviously the lower portion, which is they're not aware, it's completely oblivious. They don't think it's a problem. They're a little bit harder to market to, but it's a much longer sales cycle with them. So back to the retargeting component of it. So once you have those social ads that you validated through text and images, and you'd say, these are the angles that are going to work best. Then you have, any interaction that viewer engages with, like, comment, share, link, click, whatever that aspect is, you can then retarget those people later with other social content. And, the strategy really on marketing is like understanding that you want to be able to constantly be learning, constantly be testing different angles, different approaches to find out what mix of content really works best to get your audience to convert. So that's really video number one.
Okay, so let's stop there for 1 second.
Yeah, great.
A lot of the audience of the podcast, they're consultants or professionals, they're speakers. So when we look at retargeting, because they're not necessarily selling one-off products, they're probably selling, more high-end services. So, for them, would retargeting also look like, as they're producing, educational content, things like that? Would retargeting work with that to just help position them as sort of that go-to person?
Absolutely. Retargeting just keeps them top of mind, and it positions them as the authority. So if you're a coach or you're selling high level services, like we kind of sell, it's considered like high-end professional services as a video production company. So we use retargeting all the time for people that interact with our content on different social media platforms. And it's really to be top of mind, again, for that longer, person that's looking 90, 120 days in the future, that they're kind of aware of you. Now, that's the first step, is the social media content. The second component, the second video, is really what we call your flagship video. And from a production side, this is usually where we start. So if you're selling high-end services, like you're a coach, or you're selling high-end digital products, training, this is where you want to create that video that tells that story about what it is or who you are and how you're going to make that person's life better. We always kind of explain this video to clients that it's not really a video about you per se. It's really a video about your customer's journey and what their life is going to look like once you work with them. So for instance, if you're selling a high-end, you're a coach, and one of your offers is one-on-one coaching, and one of them is, $1,000 digital training, right? So that digital training product would be the promo video about what they're getting for the $1,000. So it walks them through in a 2 to 3 minute video, the story of where they're at right now, okay, hooking them into, so the person watching it is like, yes, that's me. That's the problem I'm having. And then provides the solution to what that digital training is going to provide to them. And then what their life is going to look like. So really illustrating like what they're going to be able to accomplish through going through this, what other people have been able to accomplish through it, what other people have, thought about as far as like an objection turned success. Someone else was like, I didn't have $1,000 in my bank account to spend on this course, but I found a way to get it. And it has been the best decision I've made because I've been able to 10x my income in 9 months, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of the way we structure that video. So whether it's, a local company, like we'd work with home builders and tech firms, that's about their what makes them uniquely different. If it's a coach, it's really about the digital product they're selling or that one-to-one consulting that they're selling. It's that story. And that's usually about 2 to 3 minutes. So the strategy is, just to kind of recap where we're at so far, top of the funnel, you have those social ads that are really is for awareness and engagement. And they're typically really short, like typically less than 60 seconds, veer on the side of 30 seconds, just to capture people's attention and get engagement. So you get that click to go to that landing page. That landing page now, since they're kind of into your brand, that's where you have that longer form video, because now they've signaled that, okay, this interests me. I want to learn more. And they're a little more captivated. The social video is really just to stop the scroll and, essentially is that hook in the kind of buyer's journey. So then what you do is you have that business promo or product promo. The next video, the third video, is really that customer testimonial or case story. And this is really great kind of at the bottom of the funnel, but it's also can be excellent at the top of the funnel as well. So these are kind of interchangeable, and that's just how powerful they are. Video testimonials are so good on so many levels because, it provides significant social proof. It can overcome objections. It can tell the story of that person's journey. And ultimately, the person watching the video is trying to envision themselves in that story. We kind of always do this whenever we watch movies, how you relate to characters, like, oh, I'm that person, or I'm really like that person, or you want to be like that person. And that's kind of the idea of a really well-crafted testimonial story. It's more than just tell me about your experience. It's about structuring it in a way that shows where they were at, where they're at now, how they were feeling, and really illustrating that, full case story and arc of what we want the viewer to feel when making that buying decision.
Love it. When you said the character that you relate to, what came to my mind is in Lord of the Rings when, I can't remember her name. But anyway, she's fighting sort of the demonic thing, and he's like, no man can kill me. And she whips off the helmet and she's like, I am no man. She kills him, right?
That's right. It starts with, I think you're talking about the one in the white. I think it starts with a G, Glendale or something.
Yeah, I think so.
Lord of the Rings fans are going to kill me. Yeah.
I know my son's going to kill me too, because he's like a massive Lord of the Rings fan. But
yeah,
one of the things I was thinking about when you were talking was the fact that these videos would be very hard to do if you don't already have a very deep understanding of your target market. I call it, your audience of one. So how important is that to really making these videos effective?
Yeah, excellent question. It's very, very important. So one of the things that we do with our clients is we really try to get a deep understanding of who their customer is, what is the problems that they have, what are they feeling? And some clients will even have like a specific avatar, or they'll have multiple avatars. We'll try to appeal to that particular person as much as we can. What I typically do with my staff is I'll say, when we're creating a video, you got to think that we're not creating it for the client per se, we're creating it for the viewer. So really try to live in the day a life of what it's like to feel like them. What are the emotions? What is it like to walk through their day? How are they feeling? What are they struggling with? I'll often say, fall in love with our customer's customer. So, and that really puts us in the mindset of who we're creating this for. Because we predominantly work with B2B companies, and in a B2B environment, you're not really trying to get tens of thousands of views. You're trying to get targeted views on people that it's going to make the biggest impact for, and you're going to have a high level of conversion. I much would rather get 100 views of targeted eyeballs than 10,000 views of people that are just never going to buy the product. Yeah. So the focus is really understanding where they're at, that customer, and where they want to be, and then illustrating that in a way that kind of shows them what their experience is going to be like and what their life is going to be like.
Last summer I started working with a series of specialists, and, one of the specialists I worked with, we did a very deep dive into, my clientele. We created a whole new product around them. Mm-hmm. And he asked if he could interview some of my clients. So I've got amazing clients. So everyone I asked, they said, yeah, sure. I got to watch the videos of it. And it was amazing, the things that, were brought out that I mean, I knew they were a selling point, but I didn't realize just how important it was to the client. And it amazed me. Like everything, there was nothing that they said that surprised me in terms of, oh, I didn't know that was a feature that they liked. But it was the priority that surprised me, and how, I didn't see that. And it was only when my clients were interviewed that was brought out as something that was very important to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely.
So say you're, a consultant, a professional, coach or a speaker, how can you do this deep dive? Because the one thing I realized is that, I keep saying, today, it's one of those days. I used to be in Toastmasters. So when you said, it clicks in, that's like, yeah, they're not supposed to do that. But what are some things, like if you're that type of person, can you do to really help determine and get that deep dive understanding on your target market?
Yeah, absolutely. So the most fundamental, easiest thing is just having conversations with them. And I found, just for us personally, is having conversations post project, because that's when kind of the dust is settled, everything is finalized, and you can get some candid feedback kind of after everything is, finalized, and really just asking them, like, why did you decide to work with us? Where were you at before this? What was your experience like? And that actually can be some great kind of market research, that you can use and leverage for other future content and the way that you word things and stuff of that nature. So that's really something you can do on the back end. On the front end, what you can do is you can just reach out to people who are in your ideal market and just ask them questions and say, I'm not trying to sell you. I just really started to do some market research. We're considering, really serving this market. We'd really love to hear from you. And I'd love to get your opinion. I think the word "get your opinion" is probably one of the most powerful things you can say to people, because a lot of people, on social media, you can see that they want to give their opinion. They want their 2 cents. And if you say, I want your opinion, they feel like they're really valued. And I've known people that have built incredible businesses based on just getting tangible feedback from people, shifting their marketing, and then it really resonating with people. So it's really the words that you say, the content that you have that speaks directly to your audience can be very, very incredible for your business, whether you're a coach or a speaker or whatever the case may be. So let me give you one example, because you mentioned coaches and speakers on video content they can be thinking about and messaging that can be thinking about. So if you're like a speaker and a coach, for a speaker, if you're getting paid speaking jobs, one of the videos that you really have to be thinking about is what's called a highlight reel. And this is basically a visual video of you on stage interacting with the crowd, a couple sound bites of some of your key points in your keynote, and then, creative visuals, high energy, and then testimonials about your actual, keynote, what people thought, what they got out of it. That is when we work with past clients, they use and leverage that to get other speaking jobs. Because a lot of times when you're getting speaking jobs, if you're not really well known, you have to go through an application process. And they're like, send us your bio, send us this, send us 3 topics you can talk about. And then if you have a video in 60 seconds that illustrates the energy that you have, the way that you perform, the way that you deliver the content, the experience that people can have, it really puts you above and beyond other people as far as differentiation, and can get you that, next speaking job, whether it's in front of your primary audience that's non-paid or even a paid gig. It can definitely help tremendously.
Love it. Love it. Mark, we're going to shift gears here. Now, you told me that you're kind of an author. You did something way back when, but for the sake of today's conversation, we're going to consider you not an author. So I'm going to ask you the question that we ask every non-author that comes on the show. All right.
Go for it.
Okay, Mark, if you were to write a book to build your business, what would you write about?
Honestly, it would be a lot about what we're talking about today. It would be using the power of marketing and video together to connect with your audience, increase the speed of trust, build loyalty, and grow your business.
Mhm. So something I was wondering while we were talking, because, obviously, print media and video media are different to each other. But do you think that there's a place where those two could, intersect quite?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the best intersection is through QR codes, actually. So if you have traditional print media and you're in a magazine, like for instance, we're featured in a magazine locally here in Austin called Real Producers, where they serve, real estate, the top 1% of real estate agents. And we have a digital ad that has a QR code. So basically the QR code kind of bridges the gap between a print ad where you're kind of limited on what you can say, and then a more immersive experience that video and other content can provide. And now QR codes are so ubiquitous now. We're so used to them going through COVID that people know what to do with that. The key factor when you're bridging that gap is that you want that QR code to go to a dedicated landing page that you have, like a video or a short form landing page that's really specific to what that ad is from. You don't want to just send them to your homepage. You want it to be dedicated to that. So in our instance, we have a print ad that's for real estate agents, brokers, and builders. So then that QR code is going to go to a video that, I'm talking about that, in more detail, or giving them an offer to say like, hey, if you want a guide on how you can use and leverage video as an agent, broker, and builder, just download the link right here, so on and so forth. And you're just providing value over time. It's like that top of the funnel awareness factor. So instead of kind of an ad being on print where you're just going for the call me now, you're providing value, and you're, doing a longer term relationship build. And then ultimately, if they want to contact you, the information's on that landing page. If they're ready and they're that 3% that are, like you said, super hot, they will contact you, they'll reach out to you. But really the call to action is not buy our services. It is, here's more value that we think is really going to help you. And just, here's the information and provide it.
I think you could even do that in books, because sometimes, you don't want the chapters super duper long, depending on your target market. And sometimes there's other things you want to say, but they just don't fit in well. And I think that's where, you could provide additional material through videos. And like you said, through the QR code, and even people like for me, because I've done over 500 podcast episodes. Obviously, for me, I can easily just pop in a QR code to a landing page with a podcast episode. So I don't even have to create new content. I just have to reuse what I've already.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've seen a lot of authors leverage their book, on a digital side or audio side, as essentially their lead magnet, because they talk about their services and their consulting or events, the $2,000, $3,000 events, or a $10,000 consulting fee. It's a lot easier to, there's a higher margin in those type of things opposed to, the $1 to $2 that you'd make off of a book. So really the book becomes the lead magnet as a tool to upsell people to higher ticketed items where you can provide a lot more value to them and more one-on-one consulting, educational content that you're ultimately trying to provide.
Love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much, Mark.
Yeah.
Well, it's that time. We're starting to close down the episode. Mark, I would love to give you an opportunity to give a final thought for today. And if you have something that you would like to direct the audience to, now.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're thinking about video and you don't know where to start, whether you're a coach, a trainer, or just a local business, if you go to our website, mosaicmediafilms.com/resources, there's some great, how-to guides, PDF guides, video content, surveys that can really, get you started on, how to use video, how it's going to work for you, and some great marketing strategies along the way.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So I think the final thought is really, if you're thinking about video, the best thing to do is just get started with it. Whether you're, hire a local company or you just do it yourself, the best thing is just start to use and leverage video, because it's an incredible tool in your marketing mix and to help your customers in their buyer journey really get to know you before they.
Yeah, and you know what? Your first videos are probably not going to be your greatest ones. So just get them done, get them out of the way.
Absolutely. That's so true. It's funny because I look back at when I first started, and if you saw the videos that I did, they're pretty cringy, but taking that first step is the most important thing.
Thank you so much, Mark, for being on the show today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Audience, where to go to next? I want to direct you to episode 491, Elevate Your Brand with Video Podcasting. And if you're on YouTube, my daughter has placed the thumbnail here on the screen for you to click. If you're on your podcast app, well, I got to be scanning back a little bit, but I promise you that it is a great episode and another one that will highlight how you can use video to build your authority and your business at the same time. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you on the next episode.
You've been listening to the Author to Authority podcast. The extraordinary word ninja, Kim Thompson Pinder, has helped over 200 entrepreneurs, professionals, speakers, and coaches write and publish their books that have become incredible marketing tools for their business. And many of those have gone on to become Amazon best-selling authors and have used their books to land high-level clients and get on big stages. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review. And we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hit the website at www.authortoauthoritypodcast.com. See you next time.